Some revelations about George Zimmerman from his trial here. His brother says in the past, Zimmerman mentored two African-American boys. His lawyer says he took a black girl to his high school prom. And then there's this from an African-American woman who interned for Zimmerman's defense team, saying, not racist at all. Let me bring this panel back in. Mo Ivory, David Webb, Buck Davis, Ruben Navarrete. I just want to go round robin. Buck, let me just begin with you. The question is, can you profile without being racist?
Absolutely. We do it every day. We have normal, natural, negative reactions to people who are different than us. It's just how we're built. The key, though, is to not let your normal negative reactions influence your behavior. George Zimmerman, quite possibly, is not a racist, because a true racist, a purist racist, would claim it. He would claim it and say, yes, I took him down, that was my point, and he would claim it. We have racist thoughts, and those of us who are self-aware and try to manage our biases try to put a block on that. So the key is whatever happens in your head is fine. You just don't let it influence your behavior like he did. And he came across looking like a racist because his thought, his words ended up in behaviors that left a young boy dead.
Mo, do you agree?
No, I don't agree at all. I think that you don't have to claim racism to be a racist. I think there's subtle racism and there's overt racism, and I think all of us have a bit of racism inside of us. Like, for example, I might walk down the street and see three black men walking towards me and think, should I cross over? Am I in a dangerous situation? But then I check myself and I say, you know what? Don't do that. Don't do that because they haven't done it. But I don't think that you have to scream.
What is the criteria? What's the criteria?
I don't think you have
if you meet 8 out of 10. I'm a racist?
Well, I don't think you have to scream, I'm a racist, in order to be identified as a racist. There's a lot of people walking around. Yeah, there's a spectrum. There's a lot of people walking around America that are racist as can be, and they would sit in your face and talk to you, but you would never get invited to their home. So I don't think we can just say that you can spot a racist because they like to boast that they're racist. Racism can be very subtle. It can happen in a job interview. It can happen at a gas station. It can happen, coming home from the 7-Eleven.
Quick break. Want to hear from the other two here. Quick break. Back after this. Let me tell you, we've been talking about this through the commercial break. Where we left off, can you profile without being racist? Ruben, your answer.
Yes, the answer is yes. If you profile based on behavior, on things that people do, not on their skin color, their race, or ethnicity. Right now in the state of Arizona, you have law enforcement officers who I would argue are profiling Latinos because they assume that by virtue of their skin color, they're in the country illegally under an immigration law. And I've got news for you. Some of those law enforcement officers in question are also African American. So what do we do with that?
David, final word. You answer the question.
Profiling is not necessarily racist or negative. It's a tool to be used, as you just showed with law enforcement. But what I'm hearing here is a lot of this low or no expectation when it comes to critical thinking. What's being put forward is that you're racist if you either do show it or don't show it, that it must be the thing that exists. And that is simply a false notion when it comes to our culture and to America. We have problems with racism in this country. Not everything is related to racism, even if there is an element of racial difference involved. And again, Zimmerman, half Hispanic. We've got to stop with this white, Hispanic, whatever. We're people, we're Americans, we have issues to address. We should recognize all facets of it, not just try to drive a narrative.
David Webb, Ruben Navarrete, thank you both. Coming up next, now with all of this said and intelligent discussions, where do we go from here? My Ladies panel, back after this, 60 seconds. Down to Brazil, Sunny Hostin, Jenny Hutt, final question. Something happens in this country, we debate it, we have these intelligent conversations, and then what? Down to Brazil, where do we go from here?
Well, we re-examine laws that might be misapplied in this case, but I still believe stand your ground law. There's no place in our society for that law. 23 states have enacted it. It's time our policymakers take a second look at it.
Jenny Hutt, what's the takeaway?
Yeah, and I think we keep having this dialogue about real equality. There shouldn't be racial profiling. It's disgusting. It's enough already. And Sunny's right. Our kids today tend to be colorblind, which is the right way to be.
Sunny Hostin, I feel like we have, though, these debates. These things happen. Do debates, do conversation, does that take us anywhere? Do we move forward to the content of one's character instead of the color of the skin, as you were quoting Dr. King?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that perhaps that is the one good thing that comes from this trial, that we are talking and that we can sort of move forward and perhaps re-examine stand your ground, perhaps re-examine racial profiling, acknowledge that there is an issue and acknowledge that we can change and that we can progress. Talking about it is the very beginning.
Sunny Hostin, Jenny Hutt, Donna Brazil, thank you all very much here as we discuss what is on the minds and in the hearts of, I know, so many Americans here because of just these two little words that we heard over the weekend, not guilty. I'm Brooke Baldwin. Thank you so much for being with me here as we took a look at race in America. And now we take you to Washington. Jake Tapper starts now.